After hearing Yuan Chen's suggestion, Chen now was stunned and thought to herself, helping me open the coffee shop already cost 300,000 and now he's buying a house for me. Even though it's not one of the top cities, buying a house here still costs at least over $1 million. Plus, I've already given him everything I have. There's nothing left to offer. What is he planning? Did last night make him happy? Yuan Chen, holding her close, asked, "Why are you so quiet? What's wrong? Don't you want to?" Chen hesitated and replied, "It's not that. It's just so sudden and it's too much. Your money didn't just come out of thin air." Yuan Chen, secretly pleased, thought to himself, actually, it's not that different from coming out of thin air. The money on his car enough to buy a house was over 3.5 million. If he used it all, the system would give a 5 times cashback reward and the balance would immediately exceed 17 million. He held Chen tighter and softly whispered, "You don't need to save money for me. What's wrong with buying a house for the woman I love? Go for one that's at least 120 square meters. I don't want to treat my woman poorly." Chen, touched by his words, exclaimed Yuan Chen. Looking at her tears, Yuan Chen gently reached up to wipe them away and said, "Look, last night we made such a noise. The soundproofing here isn't great, and it's possible the neighbors heard everything. We can't rent this place anymore." Hearing this, she blamed him a little, saying, "Isn't it all your fault?" He smiled mischievously and replied, "I admit, part of it is my fault, but your screams were really loud." Jeanette turned her head away, clearly embarrassed, and said, "You're so annoying." Suddenly, she looked up at him, her expression serious. "Ah, Yuan Chen, I almost forgot. I have 2 close friends who want to check out the cafe. I promised them we'd meet at 10:30 this morning. How about we look at the house afterward?" Yuan Chen casually responded, "Buying a house isn't like buying vegetables. You need to choose the right one and go through all the paperwork. We might not finish in an afternoon, so it's better to leave some extra time." Chedna nodded, pulling away from his embrace. "Is that so? All right, I'll let them know." She quickly took out her phone and texted, "Tian, I have something going on and can't make it to the cafe. How about we meet up tonight instead? What do you think?" The reply came quickly, "What's going on?" But Meng Lu and I are already at the cafe. Tian read the message in the car and said, "Lulu, Nana says she has an urgent matter and can't make it." Lulu, confused, asked, "Huh? Why?" Lulu is Nana's best friend, the top fitness trainer Liu Meng Lu. Tian looked at her phone and said, "I think the cafe thing might be an excuse." "It's possible. Nana is lying. I mean, come on, men aren't that easy to fool. How could she just ask for 300K like that?" Lulu replied casually, "Nana isn't the type to show off. I don't think it's that. Why don't you ask her directly?" She thought to herself, "It's been years since I've met a man who's both young and rich. I can't believe Chen now found one first. No matter what, I've got to meet him at least once." Tian looked at her phone, repeatedly typing on the keyboard as she said, "Okay, let me ask more about it." Suddenly, Lulu slammed on the brake and a loud, shocked voice followed. "Oh my gosh, is that for real? He said the guy wants to take her to buy a house." Lulu's hands jerked on the wheel as she gasped, completely stunned. "What?" Liu Meng Lu, her face full of surprise, thought to herself, "It's not like buying a purse or makeup. It's a house. Just the 40 square meter apartment alone costs around 5 to 600,000 yuan, plus a cafe. They've only known each other for less than a month, and he's already willing to spend nearly 1 million yuan on her. I have to beat this guy. Even if Nana is with him, there's no way this kind of man only has one woman. When it comes to making men happy, I'm way better than Nana. This is definitely sisterhood in action." Liu Meng Lu thought for a moment, then said, Tian, ask them which building they're going to. Tell it we can go there and help her check it out. We don't have anything else going on today. It's better to have someone else help her choose than for her to do it alone. As she spoke, she thought, Nah, sorry, but this time I've got to step in. Instead of letting those other women take advantage, it's better for us sisters to help out. Tian quickly followed suit. All right, let me ask. 40 minutes later, at the real estate sales center, Liu Meng Lu stepped out of the car and was immediately shocked. She thought to herself, wow, Kong Lake Tian, even the smallest house in this building costs over 1 million. To spoil a lover by giving them a house worth more than 1 million, when will this kind of wealth ever fall into my lap? Tian looked around for a moment, then waved her hand in front and said, Nah, long time, no see. Chedna quickly responded, yeah, I missed you guys so much. Tian walked over, took her hand and asked, Nah, who's the handsome guy next to you? Why haven't you introduced him? Chedna happily stepped up to Tian and eagerly introduced. Yuan Chen, these are my 2 close friends. This is Liu Meng Lu, she's a fitness trainer. And this is Hu Tian. She works in sales at Ferrala. Menglu, Tian, this is Yuan Chen. The two women were very warm toward their friend's man. Liu Menglu, not caring about her image, walked up to Yuan Chen, placed a hand on his chest, and flirted. Hello, Yuan Chen. You're looking a bit skinny. You need to build some muscle. If you have time, you should come to my gym. She thought to herself, I can't believe Nana's good luck. This guy doesn't even look 25, yet he's rich, young, and handsome. It's really making me jealous. Yuan Chen smiled coldly and replied, Forget it. I'll work out at your gym. I'm afraid I won't be able to focus. Liu Menglu observed the situation and thought, he can resist my teasing in front of Nana. Maybe he and Nana are really a couple. The red scratch on Nana's knee clearly tells the story. They must have had a pretty intense night last night. Maybe she made him happy, which is why he bought her a house. Tian, now excited, spoke up. Hi, Yuan Chen. If you ever want to change your car, you should come check out Ferrala. Yuan Chen responded politely. Sure, if I need a new car, I'll come to you. Yuan Chen then glanced at the two women's affection levels above their heads. Liu Menglu had a 68 and Hu Tian had a 67. Yuan Chen smiled to himself, thinking, We've only been talking for less than 5 minutes, and these two women are already interested in me. Nana, are you sure these two are your best friends? Well, this works in my favor. Having a woman with over 60 affection points is like having another golden goose. After a brief moment of thought, the group quickly moved on to buy a house. A middle-aged man who saw Yuan Chen couldn't help but feel jealous, thinking, he's buying a house and bringing along 3 stunning women. Who's he trying to impress? The real estate agent came out from inside, greeting them warmly. Sir, we have buildings number 3 and number 9 for sale, with an average price of about 15,000. Would you like to take a look at the table first? Yuan Chen spoke directly, no need, my budget is 3 million. Just introduce me to an apartment and floor that fit within that amount. The real estate agent smiled brightly and said, Got it. Please head into the negotiation room and I'll give you more details. Liu Menglu watched this spending spree, her jaw nearly dropping in shock. She thought to herself, oh my god, where did Yuan Chen come from? Just a casual wave of his hand and he's already at 3 million yuan. A money tree like this, I need to figure out how to hold on to him for dear life. She thought this while following Yuan Chen. The agent sat down and enthusiastically reported, based on your budget, I recommend a 165 square meter apartment. It faces north with a southern view. The whole building, with the discount, is 2.84 million. Shen Na, looking concerned, gently nudged Yuan Chen's side and whispered, Yuan Chen, it's too expensive. Yuan Chen placed his hand on her thigh and she smiled, saying, It's okay. Don't be sad about the money. A bigger house just means more comfort. Liu Menglu and Hu Tian watched the scene in silence, thinking to themselves, a woman wants to save money for him, but he doesn't care about that. He just wants to give her the best. He's truly the kind of man who values love and loyalty at a legendary level. A man like him is impossible to find, even with a lantern. Yuan Chen thought to himself, I still have to haggle the price, otherwise people will think I'm a fool, and that would be annoying. With that in mind, he said, give me the discount. Beautiful. I know you guys can offer a little more. The enthusiastic real estate agent responded, can you decide today? If you can, I'll immediately help you get a bigger discount. Yuan Chen casually replied, we don't need any other discounts. Just swap the 2 parking spots. The price works out the same anyway. This generous shopping style made Liu Menglu secretly decide, I have to have this man. As she thought this, she gently tucked her hair behind her ear. Yuan Chen, watching the display, was confused and thought, what in the world is Liu Menglu doing? He looked around and thought, no way, if you really look closely, this girl, she's actually amazing. If anything were to happen with her, the pleasure would be beyond imaginable. The more he thought about it, the redder his face got. The sexy image of Liu Menglu flashed through his mind. Yuan Chen covered his face and reminded himself, now's not the time to get distracted. I should focus on wrapping up the house deal first. Half an hour later, the sales associate handed Yuan Chen a pen and paper, saying, all the discounts have been applied. Mr. Yuan, the total comes to 2.98 million. Here's the contract. Please sign. He picked up the pen with a confident smile and signed decisively. Liu Menglu was shocked, thinking to herself, he's casually buying a 3 million yuan house for Chen Na, and he's only putting Chen Na's name on the contract. When will this kind of wealth be mine? After the payment, Yuan Chen's phone buzzed with a notification. Bank of Construction, your card ending in 98 has received 14.9 million yuan at 11:40 a.m. on May 22nd. Your current balance is 15,330,000. He smiled to himself, thinking, my balance has gone over 15 million now. Even when Dad Yuan was at his peak, we never had this much money at home. This big spender system is incredible. If Ned and I hadn't triggered that mission, I'd never have become a rich man overnight. Looks like expanding the female NPCs is now my top priority. Then, the system announced preparing second reward. Congratulations, host, you've acquired a Lake Bamboo Villa in Lucheng. Please visit the real estate office at 9 a.m. tomorrow to claim it. Yuan Chen was both surprised and excited, thinking, wow, a big villa, and it's one of the top 10 properties in the capital. Awesome. The real estate agent looked at Yuan Chen as if he were a god of wealth, thinking to herself, the real estate market is struggling right now, and yet Yuan can buy a house and pay for it all, giving it to Chen. What's more, they're not even husband and wife, and probably not even a couple. I'd love to be in her shoes. She gently adjusted her glasses and said, Mr. Yuan, the contract has been signed. I'll contact Ms. Chen for the other procedures. By the way, should we connect on WeChat? That way, if you need anything in the future, you can reach out to me. Yuan Chen easily took out his phone and replied, sure, I'll scan yours. Liu Menglu watched them exchange WeChat info, feeling annoyed. She thought, who is this little fox trying to take what's mine? She immediately stood up and said, Yuan Chen, I've been thinking about buying a small apartment lately. When the time comes, I'll need someone with your experience to help me check it out. Also, if you ever want to work out, you can always come to me. She happily walked over to Yuan Chen, phone in hand. He casually replied, no problem. Yuan Chen stood up, patted Chen Na's head, and smiled. Nah, I have some things to take care of this afternoon, so I won't be joining you guys. It's actually good, so I won't interrupt your gathering. You all can go eat or head to a cafe, whatever you prefer. Chen Na smiled back and said, all right. Liu Menglu stood there, confused, thinking, huh? He's leaving now? Not even having lunch together? I gave him all the signals. There's no way. Chen Na turned to her two scheming friends and said, Menglu, T and Tian, let's find a place to eat first, and then I'll take you to the coffee shop. Hu Tian Tian, excited, replied, I have to treat you to a meal today. Your value is now 3 million yuan, and both Tian Tian and I are in awe of you. Liu Menglu chimed in, yeah, that's right. Half an hour later, at the school cafeteria, Yuan Chen, holding a plate of food, was looking for his seat when he spotted Like Xiao in the distance. He thought to himself, today, the teacher is alone. Other female students passing by couldn't help but glance at her and whisper quietly. Like Xiao picked up her phone and spoke softly. Got it. I'll prepare the materials later. The report should be done by tomorrow. Of course, I've already checked. The University of Science, the Agricultural University, and the Business School all have branches of this program. Tomorrow night? I'm not free tomorrow night. Secretary Liu, I'm really sorry, but I'm tied up this time. Aha. Okay, goodbye. She glanced at Yuan Chen, a little flustered. He quickly sat down in front of Like Xiao and curiously asked, what's going on, teacher? She calmly responded, our school is about to establish an entrepreneurship hub for students. I'm part of the team working on it. We were just talking about this. Yuan Chen, still curious, asked, an entrepreneurship hub? Lai Xiao explained enthusiastically. The school plans to support students who want to start their own businesses. We can provide funding, space, and guidance. The only problem is that we're facing some challenges. There's not enough investment, so we have to collaborate with external companies to make it happen. Seeing a glimmer of opportunity, Yuan Chen asked, what conditions can our school offer to these companies? Lai Xiao replied, the only thing we can offer is talent. Every year, we'll send top graduates to these companies. Yuan Chen thought for a moment and said, but doesn't that put us at a disadvantage? How can our graduates compare to the talent coming from top universities? Like Xiao, looking tired, nodded and said, that's true. If the companies don't get what they're looking for, they won't invest. Remembering something from earlier, Like Xiao blushed and quietly thought to herself, even as a university teacher, I was once asked by the secretary to go out for drinks with the boss of a company. Just thinking about it is embarrassing. Yuan Chen observed Like Xiao for a while and thought to himself, seeing how troubled she looks, I realize that even though I have 1 billion yuan set aside for investment, I still need to think about the potential return. A project like this needs to make money, and the success rate for students has to be at least 33%. I doubt our school even hits 20%. He spoke up saying, actually, I'm also. Upon hearing this, Like Xiao thought Yuan Chen wanted to start a business and said, are you interested? Yuan Chen, the calm billionaire, replied, a little, but not much. Like Xiao smiled and said, it's good that you're thinking about it, but since the project isn't set yet, it might be difficult. At that moment, the system also displayed a new mission notification. A perfect life requires not only accumulating wealth, but also gaining enough reputation to influence various circles in society. Since the host is currently a college student, their influence needs to expand, starting with the university. Mission: gain reputation by investing in university projects. Mission reward: for every 500 reputation points accumulated, you will receive one chance to draw a reward. This may include attribute points and special abilities. Note, reputation points refer to the admiration and respect others have for the host. This time, reputation points will be counted based on the recognition and respect from teachers and students at the university. Yuan Chen nodded thoughtfully, thinking this could work as a way to start the mission. After all, the investment money is provided by the system. However, if she could gain reputation points without focusing on profit, this entrepreneurial base would be quite suitable, and it would also help resolve the teacher's current concerns. Yuan Chen recognized a huge business opportunity. His eyes lit up, and he thought to himself, that's it, I'm the investor. Who am I investing in? How much am I investing? That's all up to me. So why not invest in those beautiful older and younger girls to open their own stores? I'd earn reputation points and increase my popularity at the same time. Is the cashback so high that it gives you a cramp in your hand? He asked cheerfully. Teacher, if someone or a business wants to invest, will it be up to the investors to decide which students get the investment, or will it be the school that evaluates them? He thought to himself, I need to make a decision first. I can't let the school take my money once I invest. Lai Xiao replied earnestly, in theory, the school evaluates it, but right now, we can't attract any investments, so there's a lot of room for discussion. Why are you suddenly asking about this? Yuan Chen got straight to the point. I want to invest, but I have a condition. I must be the one to evaluate which students receive the investment. Lai Xiao thought he was joking and said, Yuan Chen, stop joking around. Didn't your family go bankrupt? You even have to ask for financial support for your studies. He quickly pulled out his phone and showed it to Lai Xiao. Here's the balance in my account. Teacher, count how many digits are here. He thought to himself, now there's no need to be modest. This is how I'll earn reputation points. Lai Xiao was both stunned and counting 1, 2, 3, 9 figures, more than 15 million yuan. She exclaimed, Yuan Chen, how do you have so much money? He quickly made up an excuse and said, when my family was doing well, I invested in Bitcoin and Forex trading on my own. This money is all from what I earned. Lai Xiao broke out in a cold sweat, thinking to herself, this is too unbelievable. One of my students is a millionaire. Yuan Chen stared at her for a moment before saying, Teacher, what about you? She was taken aback by whatever he said, explaining what? Yuan Chen stood up straight and said, come with me. We'll travel the world together, and I'll make sure you're well fed and happy. The image of the two of them happily traveling together immediately popped into Yuan Chen's mind. Lai Xiao shyly tucked a strand of hair behind her ear, blushing as she responded, stop joking around. Are you sure you want to invest in this project? From what I know, there are very few profitable ventures in the school's startup program. I suggest you think carefully. This is not a small amount of money. Yuan Chen, still serious, continued, I've thought it through, but it's okay. Mainly, I just want to contribute to the school's development. Seeing the sincerity on his face, Lai Xiao thought to herself, Yuan Chen is really serious. Suddenly, she began imagining all sorts of possibilities. But then she quickly shook her head to push the dark thoughts out of her mind. Lai Xiao silently wondered, could it be that when she said I should follow her earlier, she was serious? Lai Xiao told herself, she's your student. What are you even thinking? Embarrassed, the girl quickly stood up and said, I'll talk to Secretary Liu about this when I get back. You go ahead, take your time eating, and we can talk more later. Watching her rush off, Yuan Chen called after her, Hey, teacher, don't forget to think about the good life stuff too. The scene shifted to 4 p.m. when Chen sent a photo message. Yuan Chen looked at the message. Here's a coffee I made myself. If you're free, come over and try it. Yuan Chen quickly replied, already knowing it wasn't done right. I'll come over and teach you how to make it. He looked at the second picture, rubbed his chin, and thought to himself, the coffee looks off, but her outfit, on the other hand, just looking at it, it's really tempting. A moment later, a girl named Song Xiao Yi appeared. She was a classmate from the international business program next door, also in the same year as Yuan Chen. Another voice spoke up, Xiao Yi, Yuan Chen is no longer the rich second-generation guy. He's poor now. Why do you think about him every day? He probably has to work part-time now just to pay for school. Here's the translated text. It's all you're doing. You ping head, but why do you want to go on a date with Wang Haibao, the one who shares a room with Yuan Chen? Another girl who was a bit of a diva spoke up. Don't even mention it. I've turned him down so many times already, but he still stubbornly sticks around. Oh, and when he invites us to eat, you all have to come with me. The diva continued. Ha ha. Even if it's just Wang Haibao asking, at least we can get a free meal. But if we go with Yuan Chen, then we'll have to spend extra money. Xiao Yi, you really need to think this through before making a decision. The short-haired girl glanced behind and whispered, "Hey, keep it down. Look over there. Yuan Chen's coming this way." The diva saw him and said, "What was I just saying? Look, isn't he really working a part-time job? It's already past 3 p.m., right? Just the time when the restaurant's getting ready for the rush." The short-haired girl giggled and said, "Heh, maybe we should go check out which restaurant he works at. If none of you want asked, I'll do it." Song Xiao Yi quickly said, "That's not a good idea. We're all friends. There's really no need for that." The diva stood with her hands on her hips, looking down at Yuan Chen and loudly called out, "Yuan Chen, why haven't we seen you around lately? Are you busy working a part-time job? Which place are you working at? We're thinking of stopping by to visit you." Yuan Chen looked up at her, puzzled, thinking to himself, "What's she asking? A part-time job? Me, working a part-time job? Forget it. I'll let it slide because Boing is chasing her, but I need to vent a bit. Yeah, let me mess with him a little." He smiled and said, "Yeah, I work part-time at a cafe. You guys want to come? Let's go together. I'll make coffee for you." The group quickly made their way to the cafe near Shen Na's school. At that moment, Liu Meng Lu was chatting happily with her. The girl who had been cold earlier was now stunned by the sight and thought, "Wow, that tall girl with blonde hair and the short skirt. Can anyone really have legs like that, like something out of a comic? Isn't that a bit much?" Song Xiao Yi blushed and thought, both of these girls are so pretty, so confident. The short-haired girl was also taken aback, thinking, the other one's body is just too perfect. Curves like that still exist. Chen Na and Liu Meng Lu walked over to him. Chen Na greeted him warmly, "Yuan Chen, you're here." Liu Meng Lu also spoke up, "Yuan Chen, didn't you say you had something to do this afternoon?" "Oh, you're just taking these 3 girls up, huh?" Yuan Chen turned around to look at the girls behind him and replied to Chen Na, "I ran into them on the street and they wanted to have coffee." Liu Meng Lu smiled and said, "I see. Hello, girls." Yuan Chen walked inside and said to the server, "Cao Q, ask these 3 ladies what they'd like. It's on me." The server immediately replied, "Yes, boss." Xiao Qiu quickly approached the group of Xiao Yi and politely said, "Ladies, please have a seat. There's a QR code on the table. Let you know what you choose when you're ready." The short-haired girl in the back was stunned by what she saw and thought to herself, "What the heck?" She called Yuan Chen boss. The high-maintenance girl was just as surprised and wondered, could it be that Yuan Chen isn't a worker here, but the owner of the cafe? Meanwhile, Xiao Yi, feeling embarrassed, spoke up, maybe we won't drink after all." The other 2 girls awkwardly laughed and added, Yeah, Xiao Yi's right. We're not thirsty anymore." The high-maintenance girl and Xiao Yi quickly blushed and ran off. She thought to herself, Yuan Chen really doesn't have it together. He clearly has so much money and even owns a cafe with such beautiful girls working here. Yet he says he's just doing this as a side job. How embarrassing. Liu Meng Lu, confused, walked up to him and asked, "Yuan Chen, why did your classmates leave?" Yuan Chen tilted his head and replied, "Maybe they were scared off because you 2 are too beautiful." Hearing this, Liu Meng Lu struck a few seductive poses and said, "Of course I'm beautiful, but you have to be patient. Don't get the wrong idea, okay?" Yuan Chen did respond, but just looked at her with a somewhat assessing gaze. A little while later, Chen Na came out holding a cup of coffee and said, "I made the coffee, but I wasn't sure how sweet you like it, so I made it half sweet for you. Is that okay?" Yuan Chen smiled and replied, "As long as you made it, it's sweet enough." Liu Meng Lu covered her mouth and giggled quietly, thinking, what era are we in, and he's still saying such cheesy, old-fashioned things? She propped her chin in her hand, watching Yuan Chen closely, thinking to herself, but I guess when a handsome rich guy says cheesy things, they actually sound pretty sweet. Of course, Liu Meng Lu wasn't here just for fun. She moved closer to him and casually asked, "Yuan Chen, how tall and how much do you weigh? I'll calculate your BMI for you." He replied leisurely, 182 centimeters, 72 kilograms. Although, I think I've lost a bit of weight lately. Liu Meng Lu looked puzzled and innocently asked, "Huh? Why have you lost weight?" Yuan Chen looked over at Chen Na and said with a hint of meaning, "Just burning too many calories." Chen Na immediately blushed, feeling shy and thinking, what is Yuan Chen doing? He dares to say something like that in front of my best friend. Liu Meng Lu rested her chin on her hand as if watching a show and said, "Oh, no wonder." She took out her phone and started typing, saying, "Well, you need to work out more. You're low on fat, but you need to build muscle. You should gain at least 7 to 10 kilos. Yuan Chen straightforwardly replied, "So you're just trying to convince me to sign up for your gym, huh?" Liu Meng Lu walked up to Yuan Chen, giggling softly. "End of the month KPI run. I promise I won't let you take the fall." Yuan Chen took a sip of coffee and replied calmly, Let me think about it. Suddenly, Liu Menglu stood up and turned to Shen Na. Oh wow, it's already past 4. Nah, I have to go. I got class at 5. Let's hang out again next time. Okay, Tilde. Before leaving, she struck a playful pose and winked at Yuan Chen, which made him chuckle inwardly. Pulling a move like that right in front of her best friend? Bold. Someday, I've really got to teach her a lesson. Yuan Chen turned to Shen Na, gently taking her hand. Come on, Na, let's head upstairs. I want to show you something. Shen Na looked puzzled. Ha! Show me what? He gave a mysterious smile. You'll find out once we're up there. Once they were upstairs, Yuan Chen softly placed a hand on her shoulder, leaned in and whispered, I think your work handling skills still need a bit of polishing. Shen Na looked a little flustered and whispered back, but Xiao Qiu's still here. Yuan Chen chuckled quietly. That just means you have to learn fast before anyone notices. The atmosphere between them grew charged, teasing, thrilling, like a game of emotions that had only just begun. Xiao Qiu was sitting below when she suddenly heard a noise from upstairs. Startled, she looked up and thought to herself, what's going on? Listening more carefully, the suggestive sound made Xiao Qiu blush. She silently thought, the boss. As a sensible employee, Xiao Qiu quickly closed the door and waited. Just then, Liu Menglu rushed in from outside, saying in a hurry, Xiao Qiu, why did you close the door? Open it. I forgot to bring my bag earlier. Xiao Qiu let out an awkward quite loudly. Liu Menglu, standing outside with one hand on her hip, asked, what's that supposed to mean? Open the door. Xiao Qiu hesitated and then opened the door. As she went inside to grab her bag, the suggestive sounds of the two people upstairs reached her ears, along with Chen Na's soft voice. Yuan Chen, be gentle, be gentle. Liu Menglu was surprised and thought to herself, is this really happening in broad daylight? Fast forward 10 minutes and Liu Menglu was still waiting there. She sighed and muttered to herself, it's so strange. He's so skinny, yet so strong. She lightly licked her lips with longing and whispered, Yuan Chen. Liu Menglu purposely spoke louder, Xiao Qiu, I'm leaving now. See you next time. Upstairs, Chen Na, caught in the moment, heard her best friend's voice and immediately became anxious, thinking, oh no, she must have heard something. Yuan Chen, of course, was aware of everything. He smiled to himself and thought, for such a special scene, there has to be someone listening to make it worthwhile. That little fox Liu Menglu has been downstairs listening for at least 10 minutes. You people really think they can get this kind of show for free? Next time, I'll be charging. The scene shifts to a different location, where Secretary Liu, with his bulging belly, sits in a chair, his face showing suspicion as he asks, are you saying this student, Yuan Chen, wants to invest in the startup? Lai Xiao responds seriously, yes, that's right. He asked again, does he have the ability to do this? Has the capital been verified? Lai Xiao answers calmly, at first I didn't believe it either, but I saw that his account balance is over 10 million yuan. Secretary Liu is stunned and exclaims, how much did you say? 10 million? Are you sure it's not his parents' money? Does he have full control over it? Lai Xiao nods and says, it's his money, and he can use it freely. Secretary Liu, excited, says, that's great. If that's the case, then we won't need to cooperate with a third-party company anymore. Without any shame, he orders Lai Xiao, tell Yuan Chen to come to my office. I want to hear and report directly to me. Lai Xiao, feeling a bit uncomfortable, asks, Secretary, even though Yuan Chen is a student, if we want him to be an investor, should we be a little more polite about it? He smugly said, don't worry, just follow my instructions and it'll be fine. He thought to himself, the students at our school can't be allowed to push things too far. I have to make sure their confidence is kept in check, no matter what. Meanwhile, Yuan Chen was still handling things. When he saw the phone ring, he picked it up and said to Chen Na, it's the teacher calling. Just wait a moment. Yuan Chen answered the call and spoke, yes, teacher, go ahead. Oh, I see. After hearing what Lai Xiao had to say, he felt that the school's attitude toward the investor was a bit off, almost like they were trying to corner him. Moreover, even if he gave in this time, he wasn't sure they wouldn't push their luck in the future. He wasn't about to let himself be taken advantage of, so he immediately said, teacher, please put the phone on speaker. I need to talk to Secretary Liu for a moment. Once the speakerphone was on, Yuan Chen's voice became firm, with just a hint of arrogance. Hello, Secretary Liu, can you hear me? I've been really busy lately. I still have a few investment projects to evaluate. Let's set up another meeting when I have some free time. I asked Teacher Lai to pass my number along to you. He didn't expect it, but Secretary Liu stood up in shock and said, hey, hold on a second. Lai Xiao witnessed this scene and couldn't help but think he actually hung up on the secretary. I didn't expect him to be this decisive. After the call ended, the room in Secretary Lu's office felt unnervingly silent. He clenched his teeth, thinking, he hung up on me? Doesn't every student at this school bow down when they meet me? It's just a few small change anyway. Forget it. This project can't be delayed any longer. If there's no progress for too long, the chief secretary will definitely hold me accountable. Lu, the secretary, rubbed her temples and waved her hand at Lai Xiao. Miss Lai, if Yuan Chen has the investment power, then why don't you invite him out for a meal? Lai Xiao responded eagerly and nervously. Got it. I'll send the message right away. On Yuan Chen's side, after finishing his match, he saw the message from his teacher. He smiled to himself and thought, she wants to meet for a meal. Right now, the balance of negotiations is in my hands. I must make sure I have complete control over this investment. First, I'll test the waters with Lu Zhaojiang and go from there. Chenna stood up, putting her clothes back on as she said, Yuan Chen, if you have something to do, go ahead. We can have a meal together next time. He casually sat in the chair, watching Shenna from behind, feeling content as he thought, Nana really is thoughtful and attentive in every way. She's a great woman. Suddenly, a phone call came in. Yuan Chen picked up the phone and said, Min Hai. The voice on the other end replied, Yuan Chen, what are you doing? Are you free? Come take a walk around the field with me. Yuan Chen replied nonchalantly, just a walk. I thought you were inviting me for a cold drink. He quietly thought to himself, no wonder Hui hasn't come to see me these past couple of days. So that's what happened. Minhana shyly added, but if you really want to, it's not impossible. Yuan Chen picked up his pants and responded to Min Hui in a gentle tone. Your health is important. Don't say things like that again next time. Hui, I'll wait for you downstairs at the dorm. A little while later, he arrived at the training field. Min Hui rushed over and hugged Yuan Chen, greedily inhaling his scent. Yuan Chen kindly reminded her, these next few days pay attention to the things you need to. Got it? I don't mind waiting a few more days. You need to take care of yourself. Min Hui softly kissed Yuan Chen's cheek and said sweetly, Yuan Chen, you're so good. Gathering all her courage, she asked, can I ask you something? What are we to each other right now? Min Hui thought to herself, I have asked him clearly today. We've already done what we needed to, even things we shouldn't have done. What girl doesn't want a label for her relationship? Yuan Chen smiled and thought to himself, this is a crucial question, but it seems Min Hui likes me even more now. Looks like she really cares about me. Without hesitation, he answered, of course, we're in a relationship. She happily threw her arms around his neck and asked again, really? He gently replied, really. Min Hui pressed her cheek against his with joy and asked, Yuan Chen, I'm the only girlfriend you have, right? Yuan Chen simply murmured a casual in response. In his mind, he thought, the others aren't called girlfriends. They're called treasures, golden nuggets, my loves. Min Hui smiled brightly, her eyes squinting with joy as she said, if you're this good, I'll reward you in 2 days. Yuan Chen generously asked, silly girl, how about I take you shopping for a gift this weekend? Do you want a car or a house? Min Hui was taken aback and replied, you want to buy me a car or a house? That's too expensive. A purse or some makeup would be fine. Yuan Chen smiled gently and said, you don't need to worry about saving money for me, but I feel like you're at school every day and don't really need anything right now. How about I buy a house for you first, and when you actually need it, I'll get you a car. Does that sound okay? Min Hui, swept up by his sweet words, hugged Yuan Chen and softly agreed, okay, I'll listen to you. He said it's getting late, so I'll take you back to the dorm soon. You need to rest well tonight, especially since you'll have to be up early tomorrow. In his mind, he thought, I still need to go to Lake Bamboo tomorrow to check out the house. The scene shifted to the next day. Liu Menglu called Yuan Chen on video and said, hey, kid, are you up yet? If you have time, come to the gym. Yuan Chen furrowed his brow and asked, when have I ever been skinny? Are you serious with this video? Liu Menglu responded from the other side, Huff, only an immature man would think this isn't serious. Tell me, does it sound like I'm not taking this seriously? She looked at her phone, thinking to herself, the way he's talking doesn't sound like he sees me as just an outsider. Haha, I wonder how long he can hold out. Suddenly, a voice called out from behind. Peeked Liu. Liu Menglu turned around and smiled at the red-haired girl walking towards her. Miss Zhu, you've arrived. Zhu Wanting, curious, asked, what's going on? You seem so cheerful this morning. Liu Menglu smiled and replied, it's nothing much. I just met someone really interesting. Zhu Wanting sat down and teased. Come on, tell me. Anyway, our practice session hasn't started yet. Liu Menglu began. I have a close friend who recently made a remarkable connection. This person generously helped her buy a house worth 3 million. Zhu Wanting gasped in surprise. 3 million. That's incredible. They must be really successful. Liu Menglu rested her chin on her hand and said, "Exactly. I truly admire her." Zhu Wanting, thinking aloud, mused, to have that kind of financial ability at a young age must be rare. She thought silently, it's inspiring to see people helping each other so sincerely. Perhaps it's time to seek out healthier and more supportive relationships. Liu Menglu added, "Actually, the person is still in their early 20s, even younger than my friend." Zhu Wanting's curiosity grew. Then what's he like? Is he very serious? Liu Menglu's eyes brightened as she answered excitedly. He's really charismatic and tall too. Zhu Wanting was impressed. Wow, your friend must be amazing to have built such a strong bond with someone so special. The image of the two stunning women instantly appeared in Liu Menglu's mind. After thinking for a moment, she said, "Actually, we're pretty similar. You could say each of us just has our own strengths." Zhu Wanting nodded and said, "To be on par with Liu, no wonder you can make men fall head over heels." At the same time, Yuan Chen sent a message, "I'm not going to drag this out with you. I need to head to Lake Bamboo to pick up the keys." Liu Menglu immediately asked, "So you're going alone? Do you want me to come with you?" Yuan Chen replied frankly, "I'm going alone, but if you're free, you can come along." She quickly responded, "In that case, you'll need to pick me up. I'm at the gym right now. I've sent you my location and I'll be waiting for you." As she sent the message, she couldn't help but smile, looking a little giddy. Zhu Wanting, noticing the strange behavior, asked, "Liu, what's going on? You're smiling even bigger than before." Liu Menglu stood up and said, "Sorry, Zhu Wanting, but I'm going to have to cancel on you today. I'll give you double a private lesson fee. The thing is, that guy, the ATM guy, is going to Lake Bamboo in Lucheng to pick up the keys. He asked me to go with him. I'm really sorry." Zhu Wanting was taken aback, thinking to herself, Lake Bamboo is a super high-end villa area, one of the famous wealthy neighborhoods. Wait, isn't that the ATM guy, your best friend? Why is he asking you to go with him to pick up the keys? Looking at Liu Menglu's back as she walked away, Zhu Wanting thought to herself, I get it now. No wonder she's called PT Liu. She's ruthless. She even steals her best friend's man. But if I came across a guy like that, I probably wouldn't hesitate either. Suddenly, a young man walked up to Liu Menglu with a cheerful expression and said, Menglu, where are you headed? Aren't you supposed to have a class later? This guy here is our personal trainer, Hanlai Hai. Liu Menglu immediately rolled her eyes and pouted, ignoring him as she walked off. 10 minutes later, Yuan Chen arrived and Liu Menglu was already outside waiting for him. Hanlai Hai stood on the second floor of the gym, looking down thoughtfully. He asked, can a guy with an M9 really get someone like Menglu? Wasn't the guy who drove a Mercedes last time also rejected? Zhu Wanting, standing next to him, replied, don't judge people by the car they drive. This guy can easily buy his girlfriend a $3 million house. Hanlai Hai was stunned and exclaimed, $3 million? How many years of hard work would it take to earn $3 million? Zhu Wanting suddenly looked surprised and muttered, oh, wait a second. This person looks so familiar. As she saw the young man getting out of the car, she gasped, Yuan Chen. It really is Yuan Chen. She couldn't believe it and thought to herself, the tall, handsome ATM that PT Liu was talking about. It's Yuan Chen. Seeing the two people getting close below, she stood frozen thinking my ex-boyfriend has become a millionaire, and I kicked him to the curb just 2 weeks ago. She stayed there, unable to believe what was happening right in front of her. Zhu Wanting held her head in her hands, feeling frustrated and thinking, I kicked Yuan Chen to be with Hao Jun. What was I thinking? Hanlai Hai, standing nearby and not understanding what was going on, asked, Ms. Zhu, why are you crying? Are you okay? Just then, her phone buzzed with a new message. It was from a man. Wanting, you're off today, right? You can come to my place tonight. Zhu Wanting read the message and, feeling angry, cursed under her breath. Who does he think he is? Every time, he skips the small talk and jumps straight to the point. Does he think I'm that cheap? With that, she quickly replied, get lost. Idiot. The man, clearly confused, replied, is this really you? Zhu Wanting snapped back, I'm your mother. The man, still in disbelief, responded, what's going on? However, a cold message from the app appeared on her screen. Message sent, but the recipient declined. The man, still confused, messaged again, Wanting, what's going on with you? Ho Jun, seeing the cold system message, swore angrily, damn it, she blocked me. What the hell is going on? Zhu Wanting, trying to calm herself down, thought, I wonder if there's still a chance for me and Yuan Chen. Surely, we still have some feelings for each other, right? The real question is, does Yuan Chen have too many people in his life now? She quietly thought to herself, Pete Liu, a classmate, plus Pete Liu's best friend and me as well. Is that too many people? Scene shifts to Liu Menglu's place. She's sitting in Yuan Chen's car, enjoying herself as she takes in the surroundings. Yuan Chen, your car is huge. I really admire you for having such a nice car. You could even take it off-roading for a trip, she said. In her mind, she thought, off-roading? A beautiful woman with curves sitting in the passenger seat. I don't believe you can just sit there and not let your thoughts wander. Yuan Chen seemed to be enjoying the moment, replying leisurely, oh, off-roading wouldn't be bad. We could take Nana for a try when the time comes. Liu Menglu turned to Yuan Chen and asked, don't you usually make a move in a more normal way? Yuan Chen casually responded with a question of his own. What's the normal way to make a move? Liu Menglu rested her chin in her hand, gazing out the window as if deep in thought. Suddenly, Yuan Chen spoke up asking, do you think it's okay for me to say it this way? He looked over, smiling with a hint of playfulness in his voice. Pete Little, I want to show off. Liu Menglu laughed, squinting her eyes in amusement. She lightly tapped Yuan Chen on the shoulder and said, haha, you're really something. 30 minutes later, Yuan Chen and Liu Menglu finally arrived at their destination. As they entered, Yuan Chen politely greeted, hello, I'm here to pick up the house. My name is Yuan Chen. The real estate advisor, Wan Shu Su, quickly approached with a friendly smile. Hello, Mr. Yuan. I'm your real estate advisor, Wan Shu Su. Would you like to see the house first, or would you prefer to review the contract first? Yuan Chen cheerfully said, we can just sign the contract directly. Once it's signed, we'll go check out the house. Guan Shu Su smiled and replied, sure. After signing the contract, Guan Shu Su sat in the backseat of Yuan Chen's car, heading to the house. She glanced at Liu Menglu in the front seat, quietly observing and judging her in her mind. It was obvious that Yuan and this woman weren't in a romantic relationship, but the woman's figure was just too stunning. Liu Menglu's body was truly incredible, every curve perfectly in place. Guan Shu Su lowered her head, feeling a little anxious as she thought, why do women have to be so different from each other? A woman like this doesn't even need skills. Just her looks and sexy body are enough to make men crazy about her, willing to buy her a house. It's really impressive. Unfortunately, I'm just an ordinary person with nothing special. I'll never get that kind of chance. A little while later, the three of them arrived at the house Yuan Chen had won. As soon as Liu Menglu got out of the car, she exclaimed, wow, Yuan Chen, this place is gorgeous. She walked behind Yuan Chen, thinking to herself, the life of the rich is really amazing. If I could live here too, that would be perfect. That's why I absolutely have to get Yuan Chen. Guan Shu Sui started introducing, Mr. Yuan, the property area of this villa is 610 square meters, but with the addition of the garden, the actual usable area can reach up to 2,000 square meters. Right now, it's still a semi-finished product, and you can freely design and renovate it as you wish. Liu Menglu behind us is still amazed. It's really spacious. At that moment, the system notification sounded, congratulations, owner, on acquiring your first home in life. A perfect life, except for real estate, also requires special home decoration. The owner will receive 20 million specifically for renovations. Yuan Chen was stunned and muttered to himself, oh shit, are you serious? A house worth over 10 million and you're giving me 20 million for renovations? But then he tilted his head and smiled in satisfaction, thinking to himself, well, if the big boss has spoken, I guess I have no choice but to follow orders. He turned to Guan Shu Sui and asked, Miss Guan, do you know any companies that specialize in home renovation and repairs? She eagerly replied, yes, Mr. Yuan. There are several high-end home renovation companies in the capital. They have a good reputation and their designs are great. I'll send you their contact details when we get back. Yuan Chen waved his hand dismissively and said, okay. There's not much to see with the house in this raw state. Let's leave it at that for now. At this point, Liu Menglu, still excited, asked, Yuan Chen, can I take a few pictures and record a video to post online? Yuan Chen replied confidently, sure, as long as my face isn't shown. Liu Menglu winked playfully and said, with your kind of body, there's no way I'd post it online for other guys to get jealous. Yuan Chen walked over to the driver's seat and asked as he went, how many followers do you have? Liu Menglu quickly answered, over 50,000. He asked again, are most of them from the same city? Liu Menglu tilted her head and replied, mostly local fans. Why? Are you a bad guy trying to sneak a peek at my video? Yuan Chen sat down and buckled his seatbelt. He smiled and said, over 50,000 guys have already seen it, so what's the difference if I watch too? She leaned over to look at him and replied, you're not like them. They can only see the regular version, but you get to watch the special edition. Yuan Chen smiled at her and said, send me your account when we get back. I've had a video of a casual bar exploration. If you're interested, you could give it a shot. Liu Menglu was surprised but seemed excited, exclaiming, really? You were in a casual bar? I'll send it to you right now. Yuan Chen started the car, calmly asking, "Where are we heading?" "Back to the gym." Liu Menglu replied, "Yeah, what else? Where else would we go?" He responded with a teasing tone, "I thought you might want to go play some pool." Liu Menglu frowned and said, "Dream on. You guys are all the same. You bullied my friend there yesterday. I was actually planning to settle that score with you." Upon hearing this, Yuan Chen immediately slammed on the brakes. The sudden stop caused Liu Menglu to lean forward, which caught her off guard. Yuan Chen coldly said, "You dare to bring up what happened yesterday? You were eavesdropping for so long, and I haven't even asked you to pay yet. If you feel so sorry for Nana, why don't you take her place?" Liu Menglu shot Yuan Chen a quick glance before responding in a low voice, "Don't even think about it." After saying this, she secretly smirked to herself. Women who give themselves away too easily are cheap, and men won't appreciate them. The more Yuan Chen can't have me, the more he'll crave me, and the more he'll be willing to give. So now I need to lead Yuan Chen on, giving him a little bit at a time, so that after going through all kinds of hardships, they'll finally appreciate me and submit to me. The more she thought about it, the more some rather crude images flashed through her mind. After returning to the gym, Liu Menglu got out of the car and softly said to Yuan Chen, "Bye-bye, Yuan Chen. If you have time, come by our gym sometime to work out." Yuan Chen, sitting in the car, called out to her, "Bye-bye, PT Liu. If you're free, we should play some tennis together sometime." Liu Menglu walked into the gym in a good mood. Gong Mingbei was standing by the door looking serious and asked, "Menglu, what are you doing? I heard you skipped a members class this morning. Do you know this violates your contract?" Liu Menglu felt a little guilty and replied, "I had something urgent to handle. Plus, I already told Ms. Yu about it. I'll pay her back double for the class fee." Gong Mingba quickly shot back, though she agreed to pay Ms. Yu double. The woman was still upset. "But I already took care of this for you." Liu Menglu was confused. She frowned, thinking, "Why is Ms. Yu suddenly causing trouble for me? Damn, looks like Gong Mingba really has me cornered now. He's using his position as the manager to criticize me first, then acting all experienced to give advice, thinking that will win me over. How ridiculous. Anyone who could actually win me over isn't someone like him." With that thought, Liu Menglu walked past him and said, "Thanks, Manager Gong. If there's nothing else, I'll get back to work." Gong Mingbei nervously asked her, "It's almost noon. Don't you have something else to do? How about we have lunch together?" Liu Menglu turned around and replied loudly, "Sorry, I already brought my own diet food and I don't eat anything with too many calories." In her mind, a few flirtatious images and thoughts crossed her mind. "I'm the top performing trainer here, a valued employee to the boss. What could he possibly do to me?" She scoffed inwardly as she walked away. "I'm the woman who belongs in a villa at Lake Bamboo. How could I let some trash get in my way?" In the office, voices could be heard. "What do you mean?" "This student named Yuan Chen wants to invest in the startup." Secretary Liu nodded and replied, "That's correct." The person asking was the secretary of the Communist Youth League at Kongzong Pink School. He asked seriously, "This is a good opportunity. Have you met with him yet?" He quickly responded, "Not yet. I asked Ms. Lai to invite him for a meal, but he hasn't agreed." Kongzong Ping frowned and reminded him, "If we are the ones receiving the investment, we need to show the right attitude. We can't be dismissive just because he's a student." Secretary Liu bowed his head and answered, "You're absolutely right, Secretary Kong. I've been negligent. How about I go to the dorm this afternoon to invite him? What do you think?" Kongzong Ping calmly raised his hand and said, "No, that still wouldn't show enough respect from our school. I'll go with you this afternoon, and you should bring Ms. Lai along as well." Secretary Liu was surprised and asked, "Do we really need a secretary to meet with him in person? Yuan Chen is a student here. This feels like a bit much." The scene shifted to 5 p.m. at the men's dormitory. A male student approached Yuan Chen and showed him his phone, asking for a favor. "Hey Chen, I've been chatting with Yu Ping on WeChat for a while now. Can you help me figure out how long it'll take to win her over?" The content of the messages seemed pretty superficial. The other person texted, "Good morning, do you need me to bring you breakfast?" The reply was cold. "No need." Then another message came, "It's raining today. Don't forget to bring an umbrella to school." These caring messages just kept coming. "Good night, don't set the AC too low. Make sure to cover up with a blanket. You want to go somewhere this weekend? How do you feel about musical Fortune Mountain? You don't seem quite right today. Are you feeling okay? Do you need me to get you some medicine?" The response remained short. "We'll see when the time comes. No need." Yuan Chen stared at the messages, speechless, thinking, "Damn it, Huang. It's been over 3 years and we haven't made any progress." Huang casually asked Yuan Chen, "Hey Chen, what do you think?" She responds to every one of my messages, which is totally different from how she was before, like a major improvement. I can really feel that things are moving in a steady direction. You sit up, handing him your phone while subtly muttering a few complaints in your head. Mr. Huang, if you truly understand it this way, what else can I say? If you're happy, that's what matters. Yuan Chen smiles and replies, you should probably go talk to Mr. Tao for a plan. Mr. Huang turns to look at his buddy and sizes him up. Mr. Tao is a pervert. What does he even know? Mr. Chen, you're the one with the most experience in our dorm. Teased, Mr. Tao immediately turns around to confront him. Mr. Huang, what did I do to offend you today? Finally, he turns to ask Yuan Chen for advice. At least she willingly responds to my messages and she's agreed to go out with me this weekend. Doesn't that prove Yu Ping is interested in me? What do you think, Mr. Chen? You don't know how to explain it, so you just laugh and say, oh yeah, you're right. Hearing that, he freaks out, yelling with excitement. Oh yeah, Mr. Chen thinks so too. That must mean it's true. Yeah, you think helplessly to yourself, Dan. His outbursts are really scary. Suddenly, there was a loud knock on the door. Wang, walking over to open it, grumbled, shit, who's knocking so loudly? As soon as he opened the door, Wang sprayed some air freshener and asked the two secretaries and the teacher standing in front of him, Secretary Kong? Secretary Lu, Teacher Lai, what brings all of you here? Like Xiao calmly asked, is Yuan Chen here? Huang hesitated before replying, yes, he is. Please come in. Inside, his mind raced with worry. Oh shit, these three are here looking for Yuan Chen. Did he do something really bad? The other students in the building started gossiping in a frenzy, whispering, why are these leaders coming to the dorm? What's going on? They're here looking for Yuan Chen. His family's bankrupt, but he bought a car. And he's got a girlfriend outside of school. Do you think he did something illegal? Suddenly, a clear, confident voice cut through the chatter. It's definitely something shady. How else would Yuan Chen have so much money? There's gotta be something going on. One student, hearing this, asked, Lai Peng, do you know what happened? Tell us, what do you know? Lai Zhanpeng, taking the opportunity to add fuel to the fire, replied, Yuan Chen's money isn't clean. It's normal for the leaders to show up at his door. Maybe they've already been controlling him, waiting for the police to show up. Huang couldn't take it anymore and snapped angrily, Lai Zhanpeng, what nonsense are you spouting? Confident, Lai Zhanpeng responded, whether I'm talking nonsense or not, you'll find out soon enough. Like Xiao, now inside, introduced the visitors seriously. Yuan Chen, these two are Secretary Kong and Secretary Lu from the Student Council. Yuan Chen stood up, walked over to Kong Zongping, and greeted him warmly. Hello, Secretary Kong. He spoke politely, classmate Yuan Chen, I'm Kong Zongping from the Student Council. Are you free tonight? Would you like to have a meal together? Yuan Chen happily responded, tonight? Sure, that sounds good. Hearing the yes, Kong Zongping immediately brightened up and said, great. I'll book a restaurant right away. It's getting late, so let's go together now. They then had a proper conversation about starting a business. The three of them, Kong Zongping and his companions, surrounded Yuan Chen and left. This is what the students were gossiping about. Watching Yuan Chen leave, they wondered aloud. The way these three are acting, it doesn't seem like they're controlling Yuan Chen. It actually feels more like they're greeting a leader for a work inspection. Lai Zhanpeng, of course, disagreed. He scowled and said, I bet they're just doing this to save face for Yuan Chen. Come on, remember the news? Did they cover up Peng Ren's head when they escorted him? Huang, who had just come out of the room and overheard, couldn't help but chime in. You're just talking nonsense. Two secretaries came to invite our Chen to dinner. Surprised, huh? One of the students nearby exclaimed in shock, what? Two secretaries invited Yuan Chen to dinner? How important must he be? With a teasing grin, Huang whispered in Lai Zhanpeng's ear, exactly. What's going on with Yuan Chen? The school leaders are lowering themselves to invite him like this. Lai Zhanpeng couldn't come up with a response, and the curious students couldn't help but exclaim, Yuan Chen is terrifying. He's no longer in the same league as us. The scene shifts to an upscale restaurant, where Kong Zongping speaks first. Yuan Chen, what are the requirements of your plan? Please tell me. I want to understand your proposal fully. Yuan Chen calmly responds, Secretary Kong, if you want me to invest, there are two conditions that must be met. Of course, this won't result in any loss for the school. Secretary Kong responds generously, no need to be formal. Just speak frankly. Yuan Chen begins outlining his demands. Secretary, I want complete autonomy. That means who gets to decide where the investment goes? How much is invested? These decisions should all be made by me with no interference from the school. At this, Secretary Lu jumps up in shock, exclaiming loudly, what did you just say? That's not how things work. Kong Zongping steps in to calm the situation. Mr. Lu, quiet down. Then he turns to Yuan Chen and speaks more gently. Yuan Chen, the university's startup initiative involves many different parties, especially the Ministry of Education, which will have questions. If everything is done according to the wishes of the investors, it will be very difficult to explain. Furthermore, the school must always consider the success rate of the students who are being supported in their ventures. Yuan Chen remains composed and replies, "Secretary, without funding, talk of success rates is just empty words. You can also understand that I am the one in charge of this initiative. The success rate depends on whether the students can make money, and the money I invest is certainly aimed at helping them succeed. Our goals are the same." Yuan Chen finished speaking and took a satisfying sip of his drink. In his mind, he thought to himself, "I've been honest with everything I said. The system's job is to help me build up wealth and reputation and eventually become a rich tycoon. I'm going to need a lot of talented professionals to manage all of this business empire for me, instead of waiting until the time comes and then looking for people. It's better to start building connections through this startup foundation now." What's even more important is that the system requires a large number of NPCs from the opposite sex. Women from society aren't as easy to win over as university students. Plus, the quality of the female students at my university in the capital city is the best known around here. Kong Zongping raised his glass and politely said, "For that request, you'll have to wait until I finish the seminar with the education department leaders before I can give you an answer." Yuan Chen casually replied, "Sure, Secretary." As the toast went on, the dinner eventually wrapped up late at night. The group quickly headed out. When they got to the cars, Kong Zongping reminded Lai Xiao, who was standing outside, "Miss Lai, Yuan Chen can't drive after drinking. Could you take him home? We'll head out now." Lai Xiao got into Yuan Chen's car, buckled her seatbelt, and said, "Yuan Chen, your new car is really spacious." Yuan Chen casually responded, "I'm used to driving a smaller car, but this time I wanted to try something bigger." Suddenly, the phone rang. Lai Xiao quickly answered and asked, "Lai Meng, what's up?" "Oh, you switched shifts and can't help with the move. No worries, I'll contact the moving company myself." Yeah, don't worry. I still have a bit of work to do, so I'll hang up now." Yuan Chen curiously asked, "Teacher, are you moving?" Lai Xiao nodded and replied, "Yes, I'm moving in 2 days. The lease for my current place is up, so I'm preparing to move with my younger sister." Yuan Chen offered, "Do you need help with the move?" She hesitated before saying, "It's not a good idea. This car is brand new and helping me move wouldn't be appropriate. You should just call a moving company instead." He responded casually, "It's fine. It's just a car, a tool, really. Plus, it's normal for a student to help their teacher." Lai Xiao waved her hand in refusal. "No need to trouble yourself. There's a lot of stuff for 2 women to move." He smiled and continued to persuade her, "Come on, teacher, don't turn me down. I'm your student. Helping you move isn't a big deal." In the end, Lai Xiao agreed reluctantly. She hesitated for a moment before saying, "All right then." She blushed as she looked at Yuan Chen, quietly sizing him up. Yuan Chen had a slightly thin face with defined features. If you took away the fact that he was her student and looked at him from the perspective of someone of the opposite sex, he was actually quite handsome. Suddenly, she realized something and quickly covered her mouth, feeling a little shy as she thought to herself, "Wait a minute, he rushed to help me move like this, and he even gave me that bag before. Maybe Lai Meng was right. He might have feelings for me." Speaking of that bag, he had said before that it was a high-end replica, but considering his actual wealth, it might really be the genuine article. She immediately turned to him and asked, "Yuan Chen, do you remember the bag you gave me last time?" Yuan Chen nodded and answered, "I remember. What's up?" She hesitated for a moment and said, "You mentioned before that it was a high-end replica." Without any hesitation, he replied, "Actually, it's real, but it's no big deal. After all, their students aren't sure on money, and giving a gift to a teacher they like isn't a problem, right? I mean, it's not like I'm giving it to a teacher I respect, so what's the big deal?" Yuan Chen suddenly became flustered, making Lai Xiao blush a little too. She shyly thought, "As expected, but it's not appropriate. For one, I'm older than him, and secondly, we're teacher and student." She thought for a long time, then spoke up, "Yuan Chen, but..." He quickly cut her off, saying, "Sure, okay, give the car, teacher, no need for any more excuses. I will give up anyway." A little while later, Lai Xiao and Yuan Chen arrived. As they got out of the car, Lai Xiao immediately asked, "Are you going home to sleep tonight?" Yuan Chen replied calmly, "No, I'm not going back. There's no room for me there, so I'll head back to the dorm." Lai Xiao, feeling a little awkward, said, "Then just stop here. I'll come by tomorrow and drive it back. Hey, the keys?" Yuan Chen walked over and leaned close to her. She softly replied, "Okay." Even such a small action made Lai Xiao freeze in place. She stood there blushing and thought to herself, "She's getting bolder. First it was dinner at home, then at the office, and now she dares to kiss me directly. Such a troublemaker." With that thought, she quickly turned around and Lin Yuchang was picking up toys while complaining, "These are all old toys the kids play with and forgot about. One here, one there." Yuan Chen, standing behind her, enjoyed the scene and cheerfully said, "No rush, take your time. How old is your child now?" While putting the toys into the bag, she replied, 3.5. Quite the troublemaker. Seeing the bottle of wine in her hand, Yuan Chen was surprised and thought, still drinking? Could it be that Lin Yuchang came to the cafe alone to drink and sulk? After a while, Lin Yuchang looked around and said, "All cleaned up now." Noticing her mood, Yuan Chen asked, "What's wrong? Are you feeling reluctant?" Lin Yuchang brushed past a table, lightly touching it, then answered, "It's not that I can't let go. It's just that I remember how it used to be, how it was always there by my side, through every day and night." Yuan Chen quickly guessed, thinking this must have something to do with Zhang Jinyang. If she wasn't upset about something, she wouldn't be here, at the cafe drinking alone like this. Smiling, Yuan Chen asked, "Would you be able to visit often?" Lin Yuchang shook her head and replied, "I probably won't be coming back." Seeing she was about to leave, Yuan Chen called out to her and asked, "Lin Yuchang, if you don't mind, could I join you for a drink?" Lin Yuchang turned to him and asked, "Is this okay?" Yuan Chen casually replied, "What's wrong with it?" Pinning up on each other's signals, they both sat down at a nearby table. Yuan Chen poured a glass of wine for each of them from the bottle they had just stored away. As he poured, he asked, "Are you feeling uneasy? I'm guessing it has something to do with your family, right?" Lin Yuchang fell silent for a moment before asking back, "How did you know?" Yuan Chen filled his own glass, took his time, and said, "Actually, I know your husband, Zhang Jinyang. He's the manager at the forest store, right? I've heard some things about him. I remember that Chen Ne used to work for him. She left because of your husband, didn't she?" Lin Yuchang looked surprised, a slight look of confusion crossing her face as she asked, "Could it be that they—" Yuan Chen clinked his glass with hers and shared the story. It wasn't much, really. Zhang Jinyang just kept bothering her. Chen Ne couldn't take it anymore, so she left. Relieved, Lin Yuchang let out a quiet sigh and said, "That's a relief. Otherwise, his guilt would have just piled up more." She took a sip of her drink and began to speak again. "Actually, I've been preparing for a divorce lately. I've gathered quite a bit of evidence about his cheating, and I've gone through many of his conversations where he threatened and pressured his subordinates." At this point, she cradled her head in her hands, her voice filled with distress. "We've been married for 5 years. I never expected him to be like this. But when I think about how he's the father of my child, I hesitate. I worry about how my child will turn out growing up in a single-parent household. Will there be any psychological issues?" Yuan Chen firmly gave her advice at that moment. When it's time to make a decision, you have to be decisive. Of course, children are important, but if you let this situation drag on in front of them, the harm they will endure will only grow. So, whether for yourself or for your child, you must make the right decision. Lin Yuchang seemed to have an epiphany and said, "You're right. That makes a lot of sense." She looked at Yuan Chen in surprise, thinking to herself that she had always seen him as young and generous. But now, thinking back, he seemed more mature than she had realized. He even had a unique charm, things that Zhang Jinyang didn't have. She stared at him drinking in front of her, and in her heart she thought, there's an old saying that you shouldn't judge a man by his appearance, but being around handsome men certainly does lift your mood. Her face turned red from both the alcohol and her shyness. Lin Yuchang quietly spoke, "Yuan Chen, thank you." Yuan Chen humbly replied, "No need to be polite." After finishing her drink, Lin Yuchang stood up and said, "Let's go." Yuan Chen also stood up and said, "Okay." Suddenly, perhaps because of the alcohol, Lin Yuchang's legs gave out and she twisted her ankle. Yuan Chen quickly ran over to help her, anxiously saying, "Be careful." Lin Yuchang looked up at him and shyly said, "Sorry about that." Yuan Chen politely replied, "Why are you apologizing, Miss Lin?" Inside, he couldn't help but feel a little flustered, thinking to himself, she smells so good. Suddenly, Lin Yuchang stood on tiptoe and kissed Yuan Chen on the cheek, leaving him momentarily stunned, unable to react. Afterward, she grabbed her things and walked away. He stood there, watching her figure retreat, silently thinking, what was that kiss about? Shouldn't there have been a real confrontation instead? Meanwhile, Lin Yuchang was feeling just as embarrassed. She walked quickly down the street, tapping her face, and thought, I must still be drunk. All these years, I've always stayed within my limits, never crossing any boundaries. The only thing that's ever been a bit out of the ordinary is taking care of myself when needed, and honestly, that's all Zhang Jinyang's fault. What a useless, weak man. But what in the world came over me just now? Back to Yuan Chen, he was feeling lighthearted and happy, so he picked up the phone and called Chen Na. "Hello, Vanna, the dorm is locked and I can't go back. I'll come over to your place to crash tonight. Don't worry about paying for a hotel room, it's not necessary. I promise I won't do anything tonight, just hold you." 20 minutes later, Chen Na quickly opened the door wearing a thin nightgown. Seeing Yuan Chen's condition, she gasped, "Oh my gosh, how much did you drink?" Leaning against the door, Yuan Chen tilted his head and replied, "It was a party with the school leaders. There was no way around it." Chen Na, worried, instructed, "Sit down and rest for 10 minutes first, then go take a shower. I'll make you some tea to help with the hangover." Just a few steps in, Chen now felt Yuan Chen wrap his arms around her from behind. He murmured, "Wait, just hold me for a moment. I want a hug." Yuan Chen's hands started to wander. Embarrassed, Chen Na said, "Is this all you want? Just a hug?" With a cheeky grin, Yuan Chen replied, "It's just a hug. Nothing more." Nah, you know my character." Old memories of them together came rushing back. Chen Na thought to herself, the first time she fooled herself by saying she was just going to drink some water, a second time by using the excuse of a training session. This time, the reason was even more awkward. He even said, "It's just a hug, nothing more." She sighed in disbelief and said, "Your character, do you even have any left?" Yuan Chen said innocently, Nah, is there no trust left between us?" Chen Na blushed and replied, "If you say that, then you should just sleep with that blanket. Even if it's just hugging it, you don't need to share the blanket to do that." Yuan Chen watched as Chen Na buried herself in the blanket, unable to stop himself from smiling. He thought, even though the last 2 times were a bit forced, I thought Na had accepted it in her heart. I didn't expect her to still keep her distance. But the night is long, and there are many ways to go about this. Without wasting time, Yuan Chen sneezed, making Chen Na jump up in worry. He curled up in the blanket and muttered, "It's cold, so cold, Na." Chen Na asked anxiously, "What's wrong, Yuan Chen?" He weakly replied, "The air conditioner is too cold." She quickly jumped out of bed, saying, "Let me adjust it." Like a fish biting the hook, Yuan Chen grabbed Chen Na's soft, fair arm and said, "No need to bother with that." He pulled her into his arms and, with his bare body against hers, said seductively, "No need to adjust it. We'll be warm if we share the blanket." Chen Na, feeling Yuan Chen's attack from behind, could only silently endure. Meanwhile, Yuan Chen said happily, "See? It's not cold anymore." After an emotional evening, the next morning, Yuan Chen woke up to find that Chen Na was no longer lying beside him. Instead, she had left a small note. "I'm at the cafe. I washed your dirty clothes, but they're not dry yet, so I bought you a new outfit. Breakfast is in the steamer. If it gets cold, just heat it up yourself." A gentle warmth spread through Yuan Chen as he read those lines. He thought to himself, "Goodness, where on earth could I find a girl like this? I have to properly show my gratitude. I'll definitely make time to buy her a gift." Just then, his phone rang and Liu Menglu's name appeared on the screen. With a voice full of energy, she said, "Hey, when are you coming to the gym with me? I'm waiting for you." Yuan Chen quickly set the phone aside, closed his eyes, and thought to himself, "Why am I already dealing with something like this first thing in the morning? Isn't she Na's best friend? I can't let my mind wander." As if sensing something, Liu Menglu leaned toward the camera and spoke in a teasing tone. "Why are you holding the phone so far away? What's wrong? Afraid I'm going to give you a hard time." Yuan Chen squinted at Liu Menglu, silently cursing to himself. "Damn it, this girl is clearly trying to provoke me." While talking to Liu Menglu, he suddenly received a call. Surprised, Yuan Chen mumbled and gestured for her to wait. He then turned to speak to her. "I'm busy right now. I'll call you back later." Liu Menglu winked and replied, "All right, go ahead and handle your stuff first." Yuan Chen answered the call and asked casually, "Hey guy, what's up?" On the other end, Lai Xiao spoke cheerfully. "Your request has been approved by the board and the education department. We'll draft the official documents and start spreading the word in the next couple of days. Once the school receives the applications and the business plans from the students, we'll send them to you for review and evaluation." Yuan Chen asked, confused, "Does the application need to include things like height, weight, and a photo?" Lai Xiao didn't get it, so she asked, "Why? Want to include that kind of information? How does height and weight relate to building a career?" Yuan Chen smiled and responded, "Of course it matters. To be eligible to build a career, you need to have a decent appearance. I can tell whether someone has discipline just by looking at them. I have high standards when it comes to this." Lai Xiao was surprised. She felt something was off and asked again, "Really? That's a perspective I haven't heard before." But she eventually agreed and said, "All right, I'll add that section for you. Secretary Liu has arranged for the student union staff to contact you later tonight." Yuan Chen flicked the blanket off and got out of bed. He answered calmly, "Then there's no issue on my end for now." Lai Xiao suddenly changed her tone. She blushed, looking embarrassed, and nervously ran her hand over the table as she hesitated, saying, "Oh right, Yuan Chen, my sister and I are moving tomorrow morning. Are you free?" Yuan Chen immediately replied, "Of course, I'll see you tomorrow." Half an hour later, after finishing breakfast and getting ready to head out, Yuan Chen's phone rang, catching his attention. He mumbled, Why is Liu Menglu calling me? As soon as he answered, Liu Menglu started complaining. What are you doing? Didn't you say you come find me soon? It's still over half an hour and you're not done yet. I can't believe it. Yuan Chen responded coldly, I'm busy just getting ready to head out. I have meetings with 2 interior design companies to discuss the villa plans. Upon hearing this, Liu Menglu got excited and asked, well, do you need a tail to follow you? While putting on his jacket, Yuan Chen replied, you already called yourself a tail. Why would I bring you along? But if you really want to come, you can join. He thought to himself, even though Liu Menglu can be a bit fake at times, she definitely knows how to provide emotional support. Having a beautiful woman by your side during a meeting really does make things more effective. Liu Menglu, thrilled, winked and said, all right, then come pick me up. I'll be waiting for you in the sports room. Yuan Chen simply responded with all right before hanging up. A little while later, Yuan Chen arrived at the location. As soon as he got out of the car, a man approached and asked, hey, are you waiting for someone too? Let me guess, you're waiting for a girl. Yuan Chen looked at the man in front of him and nodded. Yeah, that's right. The man studied Yuan Chen for a moment before commenting. Your car's not bad, but it's only okay for chasing after girls. If you want to go after someone top tier, it's not enough. To catch a goddess, you gotta drive something like mine. Kid. As he spoke, he leaned proudly against his fancy car, smirking. Yuan Chen smiled casually and replied, is that so? At that moment, Liu Menglu, dressed in a sexy outfit with a flushed face, walked up. The man's tone immediately changed when he saw her. He eagerly said, Menglu, you're done with work? I've been waiting for you for a while. Let's go grab some food. What do you feel like eating? Liu Menglu tilted her head, flashing a professional smile as she replied, sorry, boss, I've made plans with a friend. I already texted you about it earlier. In her mind, she thought he may have a lot of money, but most of it's from his parents. He doesn't really have control over his wealth. Yuan Chen, on the other hand, is different, so I guess I'll have to settle for second place. But the man didn't give up. He said, that's okay, I can come along with you too. Lunch is on me, if your friend doesn't mind. Yuan Chen politely opened the car door for Liu Menglu, then turned to the man named Peng and said, sorry bro, but I don't like eating with someone as low-ranking as a driver. Once inside the car, Liu Menglu closed the door, smiled brightly, and urged Yuan Chen, let's go, Yuan Chen. She smoothly slipped past Mr. Peng and casually made a mocking comment. Peng gritted his teeth in frustration, unable to believe what he was seeing. Menglu is getting in this kid's car. What's going on here? If this doesn't win her over, then I, a rich man, have been outdone by a mere driver. A little while later, as they were driving, Liu Menglu relaxed in her seat and casually explained that guy, Boss Peng, is a high-level member at our shop. He spends a lot of money there, his family is pretty well off. His car is worth over 2 million. Yuan Chen nonchalantly asked, so what happened after that? Liu Menglu continued, he's been pursuing me for a long time, but I haven't agreed to anything. Yuan Chen just gave a laid-back in response. Noticing his lack of enthusiasm, Liu Menglu felt a bit annoyed. She pouted and asked, why are you? Yuan Chen saw her turn her face away and act like she was pouting, and he secretly smiled to himself. Of course, I understand what you're thinking. It's not just me who's the only option. There are other people chasing after me, trying to make me feel the pressure. He said casually, men are only truly active when they're either exercising or about to exercise. But since you're not playing basketball with me, how can I get all worked up? Liu Menglu immediately turned to look at him and said, Yuan Chen, Yuan Chen. She grabbed his arm and asked, are all men as lustful as you? Yuan Chen chuckled and responded, why would you say I'm lustful? I'm talking about playing basketball. Liu Menglu blushed deeply and said, huff, you don't even say it. The last time we were at that cafe, I was just walking out, and you rushed upstairs to comfort. Nah. You know exactly what was going on in your mind. Yuan Chen thought to himself, it seems like Liu Menglu will remember this for life. He didn't want to argue, so he quickly changed the subject and asked, why have you been so free these past couple of days? Do you have time to hang out with me like this? Liu Menglu replied bluntly, it's not that I'm free. It's just that I've canceled a few of my private lessons because of you. Yuan Chen sighed and said, well, now I feel a little guilty. Liu Menglu looked at him with a meaningful gaze and said, if you're feeling guilty, then you should take me out for a few nice meals to make up for it. Yuan Chen smiled brightly and replied, no problem. I got everything you need right here. Liu Menglu immediately blushed and protested, what are you saying? Yuan Chen, you always take advantage of others. He burst out laughing and said, all right, I'm not kidding anymore. Let's grab a bite first. After we eat, we'll head to the interior design company. Cut to the afternoon at the interior design company. The head of design, Fu Zhengmai, came out and greeted them warmly. Hello, Mr. Yuan. I'm Fu Zhengmai, the head of design here. Let's sit down and talk. Yuan Chen got straight to the point and reminded her, let's keep it brief. I already shared all my requirements with your team online yesterday. I'm here today just to review the auctions. Fu Zhengmai sat down and explained clearly. Based on your budget and needs, we prepared 3 design styles, a light European style, a luxurious style, and a modern Chinese style. You can take a look and choose the one you like. If there are any issues, we'll make adjustments. Liu Menglu, sitting beside them, crossed her arms and remarked, wow, all 3 options are beautiful. She then curiously asked, Yuan Chen, what's your budget? Yuan Chen casually responded, 20 million. Liu Menglu was shocked and exclaimed, what did you just say? She began calculating in her head. A villa over 1,000 square meters with decorations costing 20 million yuan. If 30 million yuan could be spent like this, his assets must be worth at least several billion yuan. It looks like I've underestimated his abilities. This won't do. The previous methods weren't enough. I need to step up the intensity. While thinking, she pulled at her shirt and skirt, making the curves of her body more obvious. 15 minutes later, Yuan Chen stood up and said seriously, in that case, let's go with a modern Chinese style, adding in the things I just mentioned. Once the revisions are done, we'll discuss it again. But I still have a meeting with another design company. I need to compare the final proposals from both sides before I can make a decision. Fu Zhengmai also stood up, smiling warmly. No problem. Comparing all 3 sides won't hurt at all. By the way, Mr. Yuan, do you have time tonight? Our boss would like to invite you to dinner. Whether we sign the contract or not, he just wants to make your acquaintance. Yuan Chen pulled out his phone, deep in thought. I haven't signed a contract with you yet. Having dinner like this might be a bit awkward, don't you think? Fu Zhengmai smiled brightly and replied, Mr. Yuan, don't worry. He just wants to be friends with you. That's all. In the end, Yuan Chen agreed. Fu Zhengmai was clearly happy and said, great. I'll add you on WeChat and send you the restaurant address. That way we can easily communicate about the proposals in the future. Yuan Chen nodded. All right, then we'll head out now. When you left, Fu Zhengmai waved goodbye with admiration and respect in her eyes. She thought to herself, 20 million yuan for interior design. It's even more valuable than the villa itself. Just this one project could sustain an entire company. People like him clearly aren't ordinary clients. They must be treated with utmost professionalism. After seeing Yuan Chen off, Fu Zhengmai returned inside. She stood in front of a man and eagerly reported, Boss, Mr. Yuan has agreed to attend the dinner tonight. The man was Wan Renmin, CEO of the company. He tilted his head slightly, analyzing the situation carefully, then asked, sharing a meal together could greatly increase our chances of finalizing the deal. We have to make sure everything goes smoothly. Is he coming alone? Fu Zhengmai immediately answered, no, he's accompanied by a woman, but their relationship seems more like colleagues or friends. Wan Renmin thought for a moment, then smiled and said, all the better. Let's make sure we show our sincerity and professionalism. Invite Su Xiu to join us. Her expertise will help us leave a strong impression on Mr. Yuan. She turned to Liu Menglu and Yuan Chen. Blushing, she pulled at her shirt and said in a suggestive tone, Yuan Chen, is the air conditioning on in the car? It's so hot. Yuan Chen casually responded, oh, really? I don't feel hot at all. She acted coyly and asked, no way, right? Oh, by the way, where are we going next? Yuan Chen calmly replied, aren't you going home? Or do you want to stick around and join me for another dinner? Liu Menglu leaned toward Yuan Chen and said, well, following you is pretty fun. Today, I want to be your shadow. The whole day. Yuan Chen laughed and said, my shadow knows its place. If you're following me, you should stick around for at least a full day and night. It's not like you can just follow me during the day. His words immediately triggered a suggestive image in her mind. Liu Menglu covered her face in embarrassment and said, a whole day and night? What are you talking about? You prefer. Well, whatever. I'm going with you. I'm not getting out of the car.